Alright guys, so today I'm going to give you a little bit of video on how to do a wheelie on a motorcycle. Now, I'm not any expert by any means, but I've learned a thing or two since I got my beast here. My baby, my ZX10. Had it for about a year now, but I've been riding for a while. So wheeling for me and what I've learned, it's come down to three different things. It's going to be your comfortability, which comes down to your riding experience, you know, how comfortable you are on the bike, because if you're not comfortable on the bike, obviously you're not going to feel comfortable doing a wheelie. Two, it's going to come down to you know, your throttle control. So you got to learn your throttle control. Every bike's different, you know, the clutch, just like every other car is different. So you got to learn your bike and learn your throttle control, especially when you're keeping that wheelie up. And another thing is your positioning on the bike. So it's going to be, you know, not sitting too far forward, not leaning too far back, but just having a nice upright position. Not fighting the bike with your weight leaning forward, which I'll get into. And one thing I learned the other day too, is your hand position. Your hand position, believe it or not, has a lot to do with your wheeling, whether you're swaying to the left or to the right. Took me some time to figure that out. So let's get right into it. So how I typically start off my wheelie is, for my bike, I do about 5,000 RPMs, 4 to 5,000 RPMs, going about 40 miles an hour. And I keep mine in second gear. You know, there's a couple different ways to do a wheelie. You can do the power up wheelie, which involves no clutch at all. It just involves, you know, a little bit of a higher RPM. Or you could do the clutch up, which is what I like to do. Power ups, you know, happen a lot of times whenever you're just getting on it. And, you know, you pull it up in a wheelie and it happens. But I like to do a clutch up wheelie. You have a little bit more of control with the clutch up, so I'll probably do a couple of these and then see what you guys think. And I don't want to make this, you know, a 12-minute long video about how to wheelie, so I'm gonna try and make this as short and sweet as possible. You know, part one is, you know, comfortability. So for me, what I did for a while is I would, you know, practice just picking that front wheel up, learning that clutch response and learning how much gas to give it just to get that front wheel to pop up just a little bit. So I'll show you that right here. See, maybe 6 inches, if that. You know, pull in the clutch, give it a little gas, and just pop that front wheel up a little bit. And just keep practicing that feel where you get a feel for that wheel, that front wheel coming up. I don't want you riding a wheelie off the bat. You know, wheeling for me took me at least 3 to 4 months. So, I mean, it's not something you want to rush into, especially if you have no experience. So that's one thing that really helped me out a lot, is just practicing popping that front wheel up. And I'm pretty sure I got that off of another video on YouTube. I can't remember who the guy's name is, but I would shout him out. But it does help, you know, it helps get your comfortability, helps get your, how much throttle you need to get that front wheel up. Every bike's a little different, you know, whether it's a 600 or 1,000. And, you know, learning your clutch. Where's that braking point? Where does it stop slipping and catch a grip and pull that front wheel up? So that really helped me out a lot. So I would definitely suggest doing that. Do that for a little while. Once you get comfortable, you're gonna start practicing pulling it up more, of course, you know. And the body position for me, for what I was explaining earlier, is you don't want to be leaning too far forward, because then you're fighting against the bike to bring it up. So you want to be sitting as straight up as possible as you can, you know, keeping that right foot over the back brake just in case you pop it up too much. But like I said, I'm gonna get going into that, you know, 5,000 RPM range. I'm gonna pop the clutch and give it some gas. See, and in that scenario, I didn't give it enough gas, so I popped it up, but I didn't stay on the gas, therefore the wheelie didn't stay up. Alright, I'm gonna try and get a good one here. I'm gonna try and stay in the gas this time. So I'm gonna pop that clutch and I'm gonna stay in the gas to keep the front wheel up. That was decent. And like I said, I'm no expert. I'm still learning myself. That was decent. Turn around right here. Alright, so what did we go over so far? We went over the comfortability, popping that front wheel up just a little bit. That helps a lot. You know, your position, you want to keep your body straight up and down. You don't want to be leaning too far forward or leaning too far back. Because like I said before, if you're leaning too far forward, you tend to you're fighting against the bike's power to pull that weight up. If you're sitting farther back, your weight's more towards the back, and it doesn't cause it doesn't put as much stress on the bike to get that front wheel up, especially if it's a 600. So that's that. The other part of positioning and stuff like that is I talked about the hand controls. Like, one thing I noticed when I was first starting out, or not even first starting out, but I was doing a wheelie a couple weeks ago, and you know how sometimes you tend to sway to the left or right, and I always wondered why is it doing that? It's got to be my position where I'm sitting or this or that. But it came down to my hand positioning. This left hand was all the way up against the thing here, and my right hand was farther out. So when I was going, my bike would sway to the right hand side because my position on the hand grips was off. It wasn't even. So, which is kind of interesting. So that's something to watch out for. If you ever pull up a wheelie and it's swaying one side or the other, just check where your hands are. And yeah, so let's do a couple more wheelies, see if I can get a couple good ones. And so I'll do a power up wheelie in first. So that's no clutch, that's just, you know, dumping that throttle and it torquing itself up there. So try and do a quick U-turn before these cars come around. Ooh. Alright, so I'm gonna find that sweet spot. Like I said, my sweet spot on this baby right here is second gear, right about 45-50 miles an hour. So I'm gonna hit that sweet spot. I'm gonna pop that clutch and lay into the throttle. See, in that case, it didn't give it enough. Find that sweet spot, pop the clutch, and lay into the throttle. It happens, man. You're not gonna get a perfect wheelie every time. There's an art to wheeling, and it's not easy, but it makes it fun. And all I want to suggest is take your time. It's not something you want to rush into by any means. So we went over comfortability, we went over, you know, body position, and then it's just that throttle control. And that throttle control just comes from riding the bike, you know. How often you ride it, you learn the bike, you learn how responsive or not responsive, you know, the fucking throttle is. So alright, so I'm going to pop that clutch, keep my position back, and I'm going to stay into the throttle and try and keep that front end up. And all these wheelies I'm doing are obviously sit-down wheelies. One thing I haven't really touched is standing up wheelies, and preferably I don't like them as much. I don't know why. I just find myself more comfortable sitting down doing the wheelie, but everyone has a preference. So let's try this one more time and get a good one in here. Hands are right, and the clutch up and lay into the throttle. tried to make it as short and simple as possible. You know, comfortability, your body position, along with your hand position, and your throttle control. You know, that's the three main things. So yeah, hopefully this will help you guys out. If it did, you know, leave a like, comment, and maybe I'll do another one of these videos. Peace.